Okay, so this is amazing. I've got great news to report. Okay, this is definitely an early report because this is a. Oh, actually, no, no. It is definitely an early report, but I thought it was going to be a day 8 second supplemental. But no, that is incorrect. This is a day 9 supplemental. Okay, and the reason is because, well, first off, I will update on the 3 a.m. phase. Okay, that 3 a.m. phase, I did get to sleep. Yay! So I got to sleep on the 3 a.m. phase. So that's a good start. And then this is great. This is excellent. Just like in the phase for day 8, the 7 a.m. phase for day 8, I had a dream, a vivid red dream of a special kind. And yes, this was another false awakening dream. And so I have got polyphasic euphoria going on big time right now. I mean, absolutely amazing how I feel right now. Um, and let me just input this in here, false awakening. All right. Um, it was an awesome dream. It was an awesome dream. The way it went was the dream went, I first of all awakened from a dream, okay? And then I, when I realized that I had woke up, I thought, "Oh, wow, this is great." So now I get to go into a simulator for World War II, an aerial battle of World War II, an actual battle that I, as a pilot, had flown earlier, and then I get to experience it in this simulator, which is kind of like it starts off like a roller coaster where you strap yourself in, you're on like this track, and then you start going forward, and then that's when that's how the simulator runs. And so, but first of all, I sat down, strapped myself in, and then I started adjusting all the settings. Okay, and looking at the settings that I had. Uh, Available. It was like really complicated and stuff, and I'm sitting there, setting it so I could. It shows the parameters under which I would be viewing and experiencing the simulation and recreation simulation. And so I did those settings, and I said, all right. So I was like really excited because I was going to go on this simulation and see this World War II pilot experience that I had flown earlier, which is interesting. And then I said, all right, and I got it set up, and then the roller coaster like started to move forward on the track like you're on a roller coaster, and then I turn a bend and I'm turning left, and there's like a supervisor that's like sitting right there, and I knew the supervisor. And I was like waving at her, and I was laughing because I was like, all right, I get to go on this simulation. I was laughing, and then it just, I went off into, around that bend, and then the alarm went off, and I could hear it in my dream. And I thought, oh no, why? And I thought to myself, I literally thought to myself, this is so funny. I thought to myself, why did I awaken from a dream and go back to sleep again? That was the stupidest thing I could ever do. Because now it gets interrupted by the alarm. Like, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? Why did I do that? That's what I get for. And oh man, because I thought now, see, and then I even went through, and at that point, I even went through in my mind the temptation to go back to sleep again. I thought to myself, yeah, I feel so good what I'm going through. I should like ignore the alarm and go back to sleep again so I could dream more. Oh man, that was amazing. That was just tremendous. And then of course I woke up. That was a false awakening dream. Man, and I just feel great. I got polyphasic euphoria going on right now, and I feel great. So I just wanted to update the logs with this wonderful information, and uh, there's, gosh, I mean, what, this is the 7 a.m. phase, right? So we still have the 11, the 3, the 7, and the 11 left in day 9. So there's likely to be the need to document something else. And in that case, of course, I will do a double day 9 documentary on that. But once again, just for the record, false awakening dreams are closely associated with lucidity. All right. Now, the reason why that is because I mean, I can't tell you what the reason is, okay, because I don't know the full physiology or biology, psychology or whatever behind a false awakening dream. Okay, as far as the reasons why such a thing occurs and whatnot, but the reason why, well, and nor can I even just draw a distinction as to why it's associated with lucid dreaming. But one thing that I do know is that in a false awakening dream, you do reference the fact that you're dreaming, and that is a form of lucidity. Even though it's kind of like semi-lucid, which means that you make reference to the fact uh, in the dream that you're dreaming, but you have not attained lucidity itself because you haven't actually. You're making reference to the fact that it's a dream, but you're not making reference to the fact that you're awake in that dream. I mean, even though you're in the dream, it's not a declaration of lucidity, which is different. And I did, that's something that I made up myself. You won't read that in any dreaming books or anything. There's a state called semi-lucidity, which it's a dream that wasn't quantified. It's a state of consciousness that wasn't quantified in Stephen LaBerge's books. And so I had to make it up as a classification to demonstrate the elevated consciousness that it was within that dream. Because it is a state of elevated consciousness to be semi-lucid. Because you're not lucid, you're not pre-lucid. Pre-lucid is when you think to yourself, hey, am I dreaming? This might be a dream. And then like you might do a state test where you look at your hands and your hand looks normal. And you go, oh, dang, I ain't dreaming. But you were. You were dreaming. That's pre-lucid because you brought yourself to check your state. That is very closely associated with lucid dreaming, obviously. I mean, you are right on the edge of going lucid. It's a very high state of consciousness. Semi-lucid, again, you make reference to the fact that you actually are in a dream while you're dreaming. Okay, another high associated, a high level of consciousness, a high level of consciousness there. And then false awakening, of course, when you false awakening is when you actually wake up as part of the dream and experience the waking up as your waking experience. Like you think you're awake because you woke up, and yet it's dreaming. You're dreaming, and those amazing things happen with false awakening dreams. I mean, absolutely, it's really fun. Um, so, hey, I might as well mention it now that I'm thinking about it. I almost feel like I'm channeling it, Aya. I mean, I feel like it because like I'm so happy right now, and it's the same happiness that she has. She has that like, not yeah, polyphasic glow. That's what it is, and I got the same glow, and I'm like, whoa, I sound just like Aya. That, that's so funny. But anyway, that's one of the things I haven't done. Okay, I haven't credited Aya with her success, and I mean, I talk about Matthew Armstrong, I talk about Steve Pavlina, I talk about Pure Doxic, okay, but I never talk about Aya, and uh, I don't. I mean, obviously, with all the studying I've done and everything, I've seen some of Aya's posts, okay, and I'll tell you what basically my take was. I thought I can't even really tell. I mean, there's this. It was like there wasn't enough hard, specific data in there that I could get out of it to like figure out what she was even doing. I mean, I could. It was like, and I just read a couple. I went through a couple of YouTube logs there, and just I don't know. I just like said, okay, she's doing it, and it sounds good, I guess. I mean, I don't know, and then just moved on. and I really didn't credit her with the tremendous, massive success that she had. And what really brought me to realize that was how other people would quote her in their vlogs where they fail, okay, but they would quote her vlogs as the inspiration for them to do polyphasic sleeping. They say, "Oh, I used to watch Aya's vlogs all the time," and I heard that more than once. And so then and then after I had this event, like in day 8, the 3 p.m. phase, and I started really thinking hard about Matthew Pavlina, Steve Pavlina, Matthew Armstrong, and I realized I didn't think about Aya, and so that's why what I did. I think it's the last phase of day 8 and the beginning phase of day 9. um, I actually uh, I actually reviewed every one of her posts for polyphasic sleeping. Okay, I went through every single one, so I know the entire experience. The first vlog actually began on like day 5 and day 6, so there's no vlog for days 1 through that 4. And I guess the reason is because she was doing so much adjusting, um, and the fact that she also updates infrequently. Like, usually it's like once every week, or maybe it's a little less, maybe it's a little more, but generally once a week. And so yeah, and so I did learn some things from her vlogs. Okay, and one of them, well, of course, is could potentially be very valuable, and that is how to maintain your polyphasic poly uh, polyphasical polyphysical. Yeah, I got another body over here. It's almost like that. You have so many more hours, right? It's like you got more than one of you. Polyphysical. I just bilocated. But anyway, yes, how to keep your polyphasical sleeping while sick. So all she does was just do an instant downgrade. We get a free downgrade to Everyman. All right. Oh well, actually, she didn't do that. I mean, she did that at one sickness that she had, which was relatively minor. But when she had a major sickness with a major fever and with a deadly potential. Okay, and that would be the other side of it. So you can do a drop down into Everyman and see if that can get you out of like your regular virus cold or whatever, and that way you can stay polyphasic and with minimal damage because you're still doing naps. Your naps. It's just you're altering one of them to have core sleep. Okay, and then you just keep the rest of the naps. So that's great. And then she pointed out that the drop down into Everyman. Now you should not drop down into Everyman from Uberman ever. Don't do it. Stay in Uberman, okay, until you're adjusted. I'm talking about because she was sick, she was forced to do it, okay, and so she did do the drop down into it, and she said there was no adjustment period whatsoever. Just bam, right into Everyman, and she was able to get the extra sleep she needed so she could recover her health. And then what she ended up doing was slowly weaning herself off that core sleep, cutting it down in stages until she was back to Uberman. And it took her about 5 days to get back into Uberman from the Everyman. And then she recovered from her illness and moved on. The other illness that she had was more serious, and so it was very serious, and so she basically just slept at her will, which was constantly, I think she said, for like 48 hours or something. She was constantly going to sleep. I mean, you waking up and going to sleep, something like that. Like a massive amount of sleep she took. Um, and I'm trying to remember. I think, yeah, to come off of that, she had some difficulty. She had some sleep taps she had to go through to get back to Uberman. Um, she had some sleep tap, and trying to specifically remember if she had to go back into Everyman first. And I don't. I mean, it's hard to tell because of the way that she adjusted back in. I don't think she deliberately made a adjustment to Everyman. She didn't do it as like a an intention to do something like that. I mean, her sleep cycles may have started to resemble the everyman, in the beginning when she was coming back off that 48 hours, Um, but it basically was an adjustment that took, several days or so, and then she was able to get back right back into Uberman. So that shows you that a serious illness doesn't have to wreck your polyphasic sleeping. You can, if you're, because she was adapted actually. By the time that sickness hit, she was very well adapted. So, but anyway, okay, that was something very valuable that I learned from her logs. Um, Something else that I noticed about Aya's logs is that here she is in day 5 and 6 of adaptation, and she's going absolutely nuts with work, and I mean working up a storm, and she's done it more than once. I mean, she had um, like 3 jobs at one point, and while I don't know if that was, I think at that point she might have been adjusted at the 3 job point. But anyway, what I noticed was that when most people are like totally, you know, wiped out with sleep debt because they've overslept and they haven't been, efficient with the schedule and they're just struggling. And even like I was in my first attempt, okay, most people couldn't do that, but she was like, this is her first attempt, and in day like 5 and 6, she's working up a storm and going to karaoke and doing, like just amazing. And it was like it was like I considered it to be something that a female way of approaching polyphasic sleeping. That's the way I looked at it because where me as a male, I'm more focused on like the hard facts of being precise, precision when it comes to specific results, and then and I have to, focus and channel these specific results, and if I slightly miss something, I'm like really, you know, on top of that and really just trying to, deal with it, and I'm cautious about it, and it, every little mess up or slip up matters to me. Like I don't want any of that going on. But she was more like, you know, I'm she was like, I'm day 5 and 6. I'm fully adjusted now. Okay, she understood that she was adjusted because she was getting REM sleep within the her sleep cycles. She was getting REM sleep. She was getting euphoria. She had polyphasic euphoria in day 5 and 6. Okay, and she just like considered her, I mean, like literally considered herself adapted. I mean, by default, because she just went nuts. I mean, she just went out there and just I mean, as you know, because what gets you about that is day 5 and 6, man. You're on delicate ground. You're surrounded by boogeyman everywhere. I mean, you can get knocked the crap out. I mean, you could just be pushed directly out of Uberman and never come back, and you're dead and gone. I mean, there's so many vlogs that you can see people dying at day 5 and 6 and everything. And then here she is just like going nuts, going out there and like going to parties and running around and just going crazy, working up a storm, And oh, get this. This is the kicker. This is what blew my mind. Here she is. She's not even fully adapted and she's skipping an entire sleep cycle at work. And she's talking about how awesome she feels and everything. Oh, I'm a little bit tired of working. It'd be kind of hard to get through and everything, but I'm doing great. It just the same. And I went out to karaoke, and I'm gonna go over to this party and that party. We're gonna visit friends over here, and she's just going nuts. And I can't. I mean, filling every single moment with like activities and like I just couldn't believe it. So that blew my mind how she could do that. She would just entirely skip, and she would work 8 hours straight while she's adapting. Well, she's adapting. She's not even adapted yet. She's adjusted, fully adjusted. Okay, which was a quick adjustment because she said she did some kind of work with psychological work or something that prepared her. I mean, I did, she never was clear exactly what that work was or how to do it, but she said that that helped to get her REM sleep regulated very quickly. Immediately, she said she was immediately able to get REM, like on starting on day three, and it just nonstop. And in that'll give you euphoria very fast. And she had it. She probably had that euphoria for maybe more than just that one day. So it inspired a lot of confidence. So I'm sure. Um, and and then as the story goes, I mean, eventually she learns how to sleep at work. Her first time she did it on the QT. Nobody knew. And then after that, she just kept doing it, and everything was like cool. And you know the terrible loss that we had to the community, and that is she was about to make a polyphasic movie. She had actually gotten a webcam at a ridiculously low price. I mean, it might have been 75% off, or you know, somewhere around there. And she was about to do a polyphasic movie where she was going to take her webcam with her all throughout the day, that everything she did, and she would do clips throughout the day of her waking life doing, you know, as a polyphasic sleeper, number one, and then also taking her naps. And so you could see her. She would actually would have videoed herself going to sleep at work. It would have been so cool to see that. Oh man, I would have paid to see that. I mean, that would just be awesome. And we lost it. She's gone because she got really wrapped up into weight loss over literally 5 pounds of additional weight. 5 pounds of additional weight. She quit polyphasic sleeping. Um, that's sad. And she was about to be produce something that no one else had ever. She was about to make history. I mean, just as a polyphasic sleeper successfully, I mean, she's made history, but um, she was going to really go for. She was going to make this really cool movie. I would have loved to have seen that. I mean, but the next, it was like almost the second post after she made that declaration, she quit. And then she had a really sad post on in LA. I felt bad for her, you know. I really do. I wanted to comfort her somehow, but you know, nothing I could do. She split from her twin. She doesn't have any friends in LA, and she's moving to Dallas. It was on her birthday and everything, and she was sad. But one thing I have to commend her on is her abstinence before until marriage. That is to be highly commended, and it is extremely rare in this world that we live in our modern age, that someone would do something like that. And all I have to say about that is that God looks very kindly upon people who do things like that. And so God bless her. God bless Aya, and I hope she makes it back. She said she was going to come back to polyphasic sleeping, and so I hope she makes it back okay. And it sounded like her circumstances were going to be a lot better where she was moving. She was moving to Dallas, so it sounded like her circumstances were going to be a lot better. So that's good. Um, and I hope the marriage with her twin goes well. I had some concerns about that. I mean, not knowing what the guy even looks like or whatever, but just something, the way she said it and everything, I thought, I wonder if that marriage is going to work out. Oh, yeah, like where is he? Why is he living in the ghetto in Pennsylvania? I mean, I don't understand that. And then she has to move there. Man, I hope that works out. But I know that they'll stay. I mean, this is weird. It's like soap opera. I'm a ton with this, but I know they're gonna stay in touch. To get, you know, that they're twins, so everything will be okay. It won't get too out of hand. If it's gonna get out of hand. Otherwise, they have a blessed, happy marriage, and that's it. So, but okay. Ah, polyphasic euphoria, man. It feels so good. I could do a commercial for it. It's worth it, man. It is worth it. Here it is, day 9. Had a false awakening dream, 7 a.m. phase. So, yepers. I'm demonstrating REM dreams in all my phases. The only ones, I mean, I'm sure I've had it in every phase. I mean, throughout my days. But each phase, like the 3, the 7, the 11, the 3, the 7, the 11, I mean, I'm sure there's streaming on all of them. But so far, I've demonstrated in the 7 a.m., the 11 a.m., the 3 p.m., and the 7 p.m. So that leaves the 11 p.m. and the 3 a.m. to actually to log a REM dream, dream. And man, they're starting to rack up. These polyphasic euphorias are starting to rack up in my charting. So this is great. This is great. I am moving forward. Things are just getting better and better, and I have to be vigilant. Okay, because Aya, here I am back to Aya. She actually agreed with Pure Doxic, which I didn't agree with Pure Doxic when I first heard her say it. She said that the minimum adaptation period is 30 days. And Aya said the same thing. I mean, she wasn't quoting paradoxic. I mean, Pure Doxic when she said that, when Aya said that, but she said the same thing that Pure Doxic said. And that they both agree that independently that it's 30 days minimum for adaptation, because Aya said it experientially. She actually declared that, and you should have seen how happy. I mean, if you haven't seen her logs, she's so happy and bubbly and everything. She called all of that pain, and you know, as like less than what the actual experience of polyphasic sleeping actually is. That within the first 30 days, you just don't know. You don't even know what it's like to be fully adapted. You just don't have a clue. So that means things are going to get even better than what I've experienced. And I guess the polyphasic euphoria that I'm having is just a taste of what's to come. So man, if I'm going to be happier than this, you're gonna have to, I don't know, strap me down or something, because I'm gonna go into orbit. So anyway, that's it. We're happy. This is great. This is signing out at the 7 a.m. phase for day 9. There's probably likely to be something to report in day 9. If so, I'm gonna do a second supplemental for day 9. In that case, which will be the second supplemental I've done for this attempt. Otherwise, the next post you'll see is day 10. So, hey everybody, go for polyphasic sleeping. You're going to love it. Hugs.